Hello, Starknet fam. How is it going? So, what a week we've just gone through, guys. And well, first of all, like I would like to say that we're sorry that we didn't manage to do the live stream as usual on Friday. But as you can imagine, this week has been very, very demanding, and but also very productive. And we didn't manage to, to time it for Friday. So we are doing it on a very short notice right now on Sunday, and yeah, obviously we are going to comment, the news around the Starknet provisions announcement that happened on Wednesday, and then yeah, I'm gonna tell you my views on that, what went good, what went bad, and the all rumors, fads, and also misinformation that also happened after the news. And then we'll also highlight some of the most important news not related to the announcement that happened during the week. And we'll close the StarkStream with some news regarding gaming with our Starknet Gamers Starknet magazine. Sorry, with our Starknet gaming magazine. So yeah, let's go and let's share the screen in order to start with this StarkStream. Okay, guys. So as you know, like last Wednesday, the Starknet Foundation announced the Starknet provisions and therefore the Starknet token, which is not live yet. So be aware of scams. And the token will enter the market on Tuesday, so on the 20th of February. And therefore, do not trust any links promising you to sell you Stark. And yeah, so basically they announced the provisions, and they also shared the eligibility dashboard where you can check whether you are eligible or not. First of all, I would like to congratulate on the people who managed to be eligible for this first round of the Starknet tokens. And then obviously I would like to share also my empathy for those who unfortunately didn't manage to be eligible. And then we'll also comment, on some of the details and the news, and also the critics that have been addressed to this airdrop design. And and we're also going to comment a bit all the categories. So first of all, we can have a look at the here at the airdrop design, which, to be honest, guys, there's been a lot of fad, especially after after the announcement, the day after, also connected to the unlocking to the upcoming unlocking of some of several of a big amount of Starknet tokens that will happen in April. And but honestly speaking, I found the airdrop design, with all due respect for those who didn't get any tokens, but to be honest with you, I think the airdrop design surprised me in the good sense, in the sense that I found it, quite innovative, quite, the biggest, obviously the biggest airdrop so far, in the sense that no one have ever allocated 1.3 million tokens so far. Maybe there will be bigger airdrops, but objectively speaking, this is a very huge allocations, and it was also a very diversified one, because on one hand, for half of it, Starknet users were rewarded, and for the other half, there was some distributions towards early members, early contributors, and then also like StarkX users, which is a sort of ancestor of Starknet, if we can call it like that. And then there was also quite a huge allocation towards the Ethereum layer 1 community. So maybe it is that. Sorry. So there was a big allocation towards the Ethereum community, which made this airdrop the most aligned, the most Ethereum L1 aligned airdrop so far, because we managed, like Starknet managed to include, for the first time in the airdrop history, they managed to include some some Ethereum stakers, and they account for like 21.80% of the total distribution of this airdrop. So we are talking about 19,000 recipients, so 19,000 wallets that were eligible for this category. Then also it was nice to see that some money was also allocated to EIP authors, so to those people who worked on those Ethereum approval proposals that were published before, if I remember well, before November 2015. Before November 2023. And then we also saw some allocations towards Ethereum developers, the Ethereum protocol guild members who are like core developers on Ethereum. Then there was also some allocation towards Starknet developers and also towards open source developers that include not only crypto projects, but also projects which have nothing to do with crypto, and which account for the top 5,000 top projects, top open source projects on GitHub. And so also it is nice to know that some people maybe who never tried crypto before, but they're like active developers in the Web2 space, for example, they're going to get some allocations, and maybe due to that they will also like discover the Web3 space. And so this was the allocation. Obviously, many people who weren't eligible, they have the right to complain, even though obviously nobody owed them anything, in the sense that obviously airdrops are like gifts. If you receive it, you need to be grateful, I guess. But if you don't receive it, it's a sort of lottery sometimes. And let's have a look at the at the criteria. So Starknet users, you should have used Starknet more than 5 times in total during 3 separate months or more, transacted with a cumulative amount of at least $100 before November 15th, 2023, and had 0.005 ETH, equivalent of $10 or more in your account on that date. Well, let me drink for because this is going to be a long one. Bon dia, Thelbach. Bon dia. Good morning, good evening. So, Starknet users. As I was saying, the criteria for the Starknet users was very, very simple, except from a point that it was the detail to prevent Sybil attacks, and as Sybil attacks we could speak about those kind of airdrop farming bots. We are talking about very organized, also I don't know if they can be considered illegal or legal, but they're like they are players that organize a ring, where they farm airdrops, in order obviously to sell them once they receive them, and then just move to the next project. And this is becoming a business, especially during the last 2-3 years, and they also like connected to to bots accounts, Twitter. So they exercise, before the token comes out, they exercise a lot of pressure, with the when token thing, this kind of stuff. And then once the token comes out, they also exercise this kind of after drop FUD, to complain about the fact maybe they were kept out, and also to add pressure on the projects that are going to ship airdrops in the future. And these players are very they are not very good for the space, because they are total mercenaries, and I'm not talking about those genuine users who you use the Starknet mainnet, and maybe they were farming they were farming the airdrop in a genuine way, because if you're a solo airdrop farmer, you're farming with 1-2 wallets, nothing wrong with that. Also because you give a very huge huge contribution to the network in order to stress test it and so on. But obviously, when the thing becomes like very cannibalistic, in the sense that there are like thousands and thousands and hundreds of thousands of like airdrop farming bots, it becomes also very damaging for the ecosystem in the long run. Okay. And yeah, therefore, this is what it is. And these details of 0.005, I think it will set, even whether we like it or not, it will set a precedent for the projects who are going to airdrop their tokens in the future, because these kept a lot of genuine users, but at the same time they prevented a lot of CBILs, and to get the tokens, which is good. And obviously, it is said that some players, some users who use the Starknet network a lot in a genuine way, they were kept out because at the time of the snapshot, they had like less than 0.005 ETH, which accounts for $10. Obviously, towards those people, I say that I'm very sorry. At the same time, we all know that there gonna be more airdrop rounds. There gonna be also a lot of projects inside the Starknet ecosystem doing airdrops. At the same time, obviously, I can understand you could feel like entitled, but if we take this like this matter like honestly, nobody owes you anything, in the sense that you didn't sign a contract, and airdrops comes and goes. And it is also like it is normal that, unfortunately, in the good or in the bad, some people are left out from any airdrops. And yeah, my own view is that if you, I don't know, I've been like I received several airdrops during the last years. And to be honest with you, when you use like your main account, or sorry, your main wallet, or your main, like, a couple of wallets that you use a lot, especially if you like Ethereum maximalistic, in the sense that you just use layer 2s that are based on Ethereum, and you use the Ethereum a lot, it is very difficult that you will have like less than an equivalent of $10 in it as a balance. And then I can understand it can happen. It can happen totally. But if you use your main account, it is a bit difficult. It is a bit different for Starknet because you need to create a wallet which is not your MetaMask account. So maybe you would still keep, obviously, most of your ETH maybe in MetaMask related accounts, and then maybe just bridge a limited amount to Starknet. Maybe it was also due to that, that some people were excluded from it due to this criteria, which, however, was quite, I would say, quite good to prevent CBIL attacks and bots. And yeah, but obviously this resulted in a lot of FUD being spreaded, also by a lot of bots, because these kind of organizations that farm the airdrops also have a lot of bots. And so obviously you will get a lot of FUD, which is sometimes also like justified, as we know some of it. But yeah, you shouldn't generalize. And then let's continue with the criteria. The Starknet community. So you are an approved participant of the early community member program. So a program that was enrolled during the end of the year, where active contributors in the ecosystem could apply for it. And it was included in the airdrop allocations. It accounts for almost 9% of the total allocation. We're talking about around 50 million tokens. And yeah, guys, so what should I say about this? I think if I would have kept these programs a bit outside the airdrop, the first round. I would have just maybe even allocated it before the airdrops, or like shortly after, in a parallel way, because obviously people are like comparing Starknet users airdrop allocations with Starknet communities allocations, which is different, quite different, guys, because we are talking about members who like spent 2 years actively working on the ecosystem, creating a lot of content, working a lot as a developers, and many of them, they just self-funded themselves, and therefore obviously the allocation were different. There were different tiers, if I remember well, like 180k, 90k, 40k, 20k, 10k, depending on their activities, on the quality of their activities, on the quantity of their activities, and so on. But to be honest, you shouldn't confuse the allocations for the active community members with Starknet users one. And yeah, then there was the Starknet developers, as I said, the Starknet developers category, and you should have made at least 3 commits to a repository that appears in the Electric Capital report for Starknet before November 15th, 2023. At least one of these commits occurred during 2018 or later, and we're talking about 2.12% of the total allocation. Then we have the StarkX users, and StarkX users have played a very important role for the development of Starknet, because they basically stress tested the tech behind Starknet. Because as you remember, StarkX was one of the first scalability solutions, scalability engines. We wouldn't call it L2s, but it was one of the first scalability engines and solutions that were launched like in 2020. And it was the first one, also personally speaking, the first solution that gave me the kind of L2 feeling in terms of low fees and fast transactions. And therefore, Starknet decided, to reward some of their users. And you should have used like the StarkX, some StarkX-based hubs such as DYDX, ImmutableX, Sorare, and Diversify, now known as Renofy, at least for like 8 times before June the 1st. And then there was like the Ethereum developers, and about Stark users, we're talking about 10% as well of the total allocations. Then Ethereum developers, so if you made at least 3 commits to a repository that appears in the Electric Capital report for Ethereum before November 15th, 2023, at least one of these commits occurred during 2018 or later, so it is similar to the Starknet developers criteria. And here we begin like the part of allocations that were given to Ethereum contributors. So this one about the Ethereum developers, the one about the EIP authors. So if you appeared on GitHub as an author of co-author of an EIP, Ethereum improvement proposal, that was published before November 15th, you would have the right to be eligible for the Starknet airdrop, for the STRK Airdrop, and and then also the Ethereum stakers and the Ethereum protocol guild. So the Ethereum stakers account for 22%, as I said, of the total allocation. And if you staked ETH up until the merge, September 15, 2022, note that if you staked via staking pool or centralized exchange, you can claim it directly through your portal. Your provider should, which doesn't mean they will, should claim the allocated Stark and distribute it to you. Okay, guys? So if you distributed, if you staked through Lido, through Rocket Pool, through Kraken, the allocation will be given to them, and then they should be, the ones to distribute it to you, which is not for granted. but yeah. And then also like the Ethereum protocol guild, so core contributors of the Ethereum protocol. And yeah, so I would also add like the GitHub developers to this kind of section. And if you made at least 3 commits to a repository that is one of the top 5,000 repositories worldwide, ranked by number of stars before November 15, 2023. At least one of these commits occurred during 2018 or later. So they also wanted to reward those open source developers, even from the Web2 space, because yeah, obviously, you know, the idea here compared, together with the other criterias, is that you want to also, to reward developers and core contributors who are often working behind the they are working behind the scenes, and they often receive nothing, from airdrops, and also the stakers, because it was the first time that an airdrop allocation was sent to was given to stakers, and I think this will also set the norm for other airdrops in the future. So, and it is also a marketing a marketing move in order to to signal to many Ethereum developers that Starknet is a very also is a solution that cares a lot about their users, but also about the dev, because in the end it is also a very complicated tech. The Starknet is not Ethereum virtual machine compatible, so this means that Starknet has the highest, development costs among the layer twos, one of the highest. And you need talented developers to build on Starknet, to learn about the Cairo programming language, and so on. So in this way, it's also the way to sign a look. We have a very good tech, and we would like to, to play with it as well. Feel free to, to come, and we welcome you with open hands. And so this is pretty much all the criterias. And yeah, you can check your eligibility here. There is like the Starknet address, StarkX address using your Ethereum address, Ethereum for the stakers and protocol guild members, and GitHub. Okay. So if you want also to find out more about this historic event for the Starknet ecosystem, we also made an impromptu StarkStream once the news came out. And we also managed to set up a DeFi panel with representatives from the ZKX derivatives protocol, the centralized derivatives protocol, from the ZK Land lending protocol, from the Nostra DeFi platform, from the who else? Yeah, from the Bravos wallet, from the Argent wallet, and we managed to do a DeFi panel, some wallet chats with Argent and Bravos. So you'll find the link to our historic StarkStream in the show notes, and then we also did a similar version in Spanish with my friend Nadai, where we broke down the different categories of the Starknet provisions, and we also gave our views. Right. Okay. Speaking about the Starknet provisions again, obviously there's also a nice thread published to X from Bankless straight after the news came out, and you can find out more about the allocations, also simplified in good like visual infographics, and also the different sub criteria that give you different tiers of airdrops. So Starknet users, like there were allocations, max allocations of 10,000 Starks, 3,600, 1,800, 1,200, 850 points, 650 points, 500 points, and so on. So it's also time to speak about, beyond the fact that obviously, as I said, there was a lot of FUD and critics and complaints about the fact that many people were left out due to the 0.005 criteria. And I told you my views on that. But obviously, another thing that played, on the FUD side was the fact that obviously, even though it was a very public are very public news and information. And here I'm also answering to an answer from the public here from Felix. Hello, Felix. Thanks a lot for writing this question. So, dude, just one thing: are you not scared about how near the VCs investing gonna be out? So I'm gonna answer this question right now. And the thing is that a lot of FUD was given to the fact that there's going to be an unlocking of a big number of Starks tokens in the near future. We are talking about mid-April, and we are talking about, if I remember well, it should be, where was it? Here. So, to align long-term incentives of the investors and early contributors with the interest of the Starknet community and following common practice in the centralized ecosystems, all tokens allocated to investors and early contributors will be subject to the following lockup schedule, where percentages are based on the total token supply. So up to 13.1%, accounting for 1.31 billion tokens on April 15th, up to 0.4%, 40 million tokens on April 30th, 2024, and thereafter, up to 0.8%, 80 million tokens in equal monthly installments over the next 31 months, total of 24.68%. Or 2.46 billion tokens over 31 months. Through this lockup period, token holders cannot transfer, sell, or pledge their Starknet tokens. Delegation of voting is permitted with locked tokens, and when available, staking might also be permitted. So, what we can say here, I agree with the fact that also, I was one of those people who wasn't happy with the tokenomics of Stark when it was announced back in November 2022. And I also thought that the VC's exposure was a bit too much, compared to other raise. If we compare the raise, it's not that big. It's not that too much. I must say like around 30% raise higher than other protocols such as Arbitrum, if I remember well. But still, I admit that there's a lot of venture exposure. And another thing that played into this unlocking thing is that the Starknet ecosystem unfortunately didn't manage to respect the Starknet roadmap, in the sense that this airdrop should have happened, at least like around 6 months ago. Okay. So unfortunately, Starknet tech is a bit more difficult than to deploy and to develop than the other, than the ones being used by the other L2s, which are using the Ethereum virtual machine. Therefore, there were delays in the Starknet roadmap. This was also said by Haley, the president of Starkware, and therefore when they did this kind of schedule, they thought to deploy the tokens, like to launch the airdrop and the token into the market around like 6 months earlier than these unlocking events. But unfortunately, this didn't happen, and now we found ourselves like the token is launching on Friday. Is launching on the market on Tuesday, and in 2 months, basically, there will be this big unlock, I would say. And I think, obviously, we don't know what the ventures funds are also going to do with these tokens. I would also add that, my own opinion, one of the reasons why they, Starkware also have to raise in this more aggressive way is the fact that, obviously, as I was saying, Starknet tech is one of the most complex ones among L2s, and therefore it is also the most expensive one in terms of development costs. So in the end, investors, what do? They're basically lending you money, to build your own solution, and then therefore, like, they're lending you money, they want their interest, and yeah, that's also, I think, one of the reasons why they had to raise in a bit more aggressive way. And now, yeah, there would be this big unlock. Obviously, I can't deny that there could be a moderate selling pressure, but I think it is also on the interest of the ventures themselves that the token price grow in the long term, right? Therefore, it is in their own interest not to apply too much selling pressure, and to also use their tokens maybe in different ways that can be more beneficial for the ecosystem, right? And therefore they could also, like, provide liquidity, stuff like that. And yeah, obviously, I'm sure they would be selling some of those of those tokens. That's normal. That's totally fine as well. And I don't think they will drop 1.31 billion tokens the day after they receive it, because it would basically go against them, because most of those tokens would lose value during the time they're selling it, and it would make the token collapse in terms of price, and that would also be bad for them as well. So also, we are talking about venture funds. They are like they have a sort of reputation, and they also have to defend their reputation, right? So everybody will be watching at their own tokens, and everybody will be watching at how they sell their own tokens. So they need to be careful, right? Therefore, I don't think in the long term this is gonna be a problem, as long as the Starknet tech continues to evolve, as long as the community continues to grow, continues to build as they are. The thing that hurt me the most is that there was such a lot of FUD from people who don't know anything about the Starknet community. They don't know the huge efforts that we've been doing for the past 2 years. They don't know the groundbreaking technology that we are developing on Starknet. The Dojo on-chain gaming engine, the Giza's AI Cairo written framework, the account abstraction use cases. They were building a lot of stuff, and they just ignored this organic development, and this was very, very sad, to be honest, because in the end, one thing that cannot be denied is that the Starknet community has done an amazing job during the past 2 years in doing one thing, in building stuff, in building with a complex tech. And we remained anchored during ups and downs, and we should be proud of it. Regardless of all the FUDs, regardless of all the bots, we should keep on grinding and keep on building, and we'll see the results in the long term, right? So obviously the token is a token, so it is subject to volatility, but if we remain strong as a community, we would outperform any bad events also related to the tokens. And yeah, so if you believe in the Starknet ecosystem, this unlock shouldn't worry you too much. And yeah, so this is my view on that. Obviously, there will be some selling pressure. There will be buying pressure, because many people believe that Starknet is a very good scaling solution with a lot of potential in the long term. So yeah, do your own research, be careful, and yeah, just the suggestion that I would like to give you is that to have a look at the builders, to have a look at what is being built on Starknet, to also take with very critical thinking whatever is being said about Starknet. Just read. We can acknowledge. There is this not very ideal tokens distribution especially in the short term. But then we should also forget this was the biggest airdrop ever as well. We shouldn't forgive that many people are very happy with it. Obviously, during these airdrops, the noise made by people who are unhappy is always much bigger, exponentially bigger than the one made by people who are happy. This is normal. Also for the reason I told you that airdrop farming bots, they want to build pressure. Also for the next projects, for ZK Sync, for Linea, they want to to sign a look. We have we have a lot of power in sense of narrative. You can fad you so much, but in the end, if you give too many tokens to this, they're gonna dump you worse than the venture funds. So you should be careful. If you give too much money to airdrop farmers, farming drops bots, you're gonna be wrecked by them because they're gonna sell all their tokens. And I don't know what it is better to have a virtual fund which is aligned with your project than having too many bots with with tokens from your airdrop. Having said that, still I'm very sorry for those genuine users that weren't eligible. I'm very sorry, but yeah, this is what it is. And if you want to find out more about also Ellie's response and the Starknet Foundation's response on on the matter, especially regarding the token unlock, you should watch this interview made to Ellie from by Laura Shin, a big influencer. The interview itself is very good, and Ellie's answered pretty well also to some very hot questions around the unlocking period and so on. And it is said that that she then also manipulated the clips. She made some clips using then a lot of fads, like using these clips to twist to twist and to farm engagement around the fad, around the Starknet airdrops. And this is very unprofessional, on my own opinion. And yeah, but in the end, that some big influencers would do anything to farm some more clicks. And I wouldn't say more, but such behaviors can be commented on their own. But as a community, we also shouldn't forget about this these kind of big influencers that they just like to they just want to farm engagement, also manipulating some honest answers. And yeah, so this is what it is. Many people follow their strategy. It's good to get clips, and also these influencers, many of them are just sponsored by the competitions. So basically they're doing also for that. This is pretty obvious. And yeah, so be careful of what these kind of influencers say. Just read, get your own considerations, and be careful. And what else? And yeah, besides that, I still think that this one was the biggest. Is objectively the biggest airdrop so far. Maybe ZK Sync will do a biggest airdrop, but so far the Stark one is the biggest one. Then it's not perfect like any airdrop. Then I think it was the most innovative, in the sense that the most innovative and the most diversified. The most innovative because even so, obviously the 0.005 criteria was so hated, right? Because it excluded also some genuine people from it. But at the same time, it prevented a lot of grifters from getting the tokens, and a lot of bots from getting the tokens. And this was innovative. And I think, whether we like it or not, this is going to be taken as an example by other projects, because whether they like it or not, they have to limit CBILS tax, and otherwise the project won't be sustainable in the future. So yeah, I think it was innovative in terms of CBIL attacks, CBIL resisting airdrop design, the most diversified, because for the first time we managed to include the stakers, the Ethereum stakers community, the Ethereum EIP authors, and the guild members. Maybe they were included in other airdrops as well. I don't remember, so I don't want to say this for sure. But for sure, we are the first to include the Ethereum stakers, and this will remain in history, whether we like it or not, whether we received tokens or not, whether we like the airdrop or not, and this will remain in the history as the first airdrop to assign allocations to Ethereum L1 stakers. So we made history for that. We should be proud for that, and. So I think that was the most diversified for this one, and also the most L1 aligned, right? Because we rewarded its stakers, we rewarded EIP authors, we rewarded Ethereum developers, we rewarded Ethereum protocol guild members, we rewarded STRK users, which was actually also using Ethereum to settle on. So nobody will be able to say that Starknet is not aligned to Ethereum from now on. So this is very, very good. So obviously it wasn't the perfect airdrop. Obviously, maybe it would have been better also to give some tokens to CBILS, because maybe you would have got less FUD by the bots. But it is what it is, guys. And I think I still believe in the Starknet community, in the Starknet builders, in the Starknet tech. I won't go anywhere. I will see how the things will unfold in the coming months. I will still produce a lot of contents for all those who like it. And yeah, so I think we shouldn't care about the FUD. We should keep on grinding, following also the example of the Ethereum, which is one of the projects that received the most FUD ever, and following the example of many other projects, and let's make an example. Even though I'm very Ethereum centric, so to be honest, I've never been involved with Solana a lot, and but I need to acknowledge that their community managed to survive such a bad time, such a a big FUD, especially because Solana is a project that was related to Sam Bankman-Friedman, right? So to FTX, to the FTX debacle. We're talking about the biggest scams, or the biggest bankruptcy of the century, the biggest scams the biggest fraud in history, and history of crypto, and also beyond. And I need to give the merit to the Solana community to just get away from from the FTX entities, and to focus on not to give everything away, but just to stick with their community, with their tech, to develop during the bear market. And they achieved amazing results, even though I don't use Solana a lot, but I respect them, and I think they did an amazing job as a community, and they showed us that any kind of FUD can be overwhelmed. any kind of farm, as long as the community, the builders remain united. Any kind of FUD will be melted away. As long as you remain united, as long as you focus on the tech. Obviously, we don't know if will be the same for Starknet. I think it will be, but we should just keep on building with honesty, with integrity, and I think that strong builders become stronger during funding times. So heads up and keep grinding, Starknet fam. Maximum respect for those who feel upset, for those who participated genuinely in the development of the network, and maybe they didn't receive the Starknet airdrop. Long memory, we shouldn't forget those people who farmed on the FAT. Never forget these people, guys. They will give us remembering these people will give us strength. No regret, no resentment towards them, but at the same time, never forget them. Just take from their FAT, just take energy out of it, right? And then let's show them how wrong they will be. And then in time of FAT, guys, be a lion, don't be a hyena, be a lion, and keep on building. So that's all for the So here we come again, guys. Let's have a look at some of the other interesting news that's happened on the Starknet ecosystem during the past week, and we are doing this by reading the latest issue of the Le Monde Starknet, which is a weekly thread that I curate for the Starknet ecosystem community, and we sum up some of the most important news from the Starknet week. And yeah, obviously many news were related to to the Starknet token, and then let me skip them. Yeah, there was an interesting space about how Starknet wants to scale Ethereum, and especially in the DeFi field. And there was a space hosted by Luis from Starkware, who hosted Eddie from the Nimbora's DeFi pooling solution that basically allows you to use L1 DeFi protocols such as Liquidity using Starknet. So you would be use the L1 protocols, but with the all the advantages of the L2, so of the Starknet L2. So low fees and fast transaction. Then we had the Avenue, the Avenue Starknet market page. Avenue, the a DeFi aggregator, an AMM aggregator on Starknet. They deployed the Starknet market page where you can monitor all the tokens from the Starknet ecosystem. And yeah, this is going to be interesting once other tokens will also launch their own tokens, and other projects will launch their own tokens, and this is going to be very useful for traders as well. Okay, sorry guys, I'm having some tech props, but they've been solved out. And yeah, there's going to be an interesting hacker house, a gaming hacker house, from Komorebi, who's a gaming developer who organizes a lot of gaming hacker houses all around the world. During the Ethereum weeks, during DEF CON, during, for example, in this case, ETH London. And they're going to organize an hacker house in London from the 13th until the 18th of March during ETH London. and I'm sure many interesting gaming use cases will be built on top of the Dojo on-chain gaming engine. And yeah, so if you're a gaming dev, just apply for it, and maybe you'll be able, you'll have the chance to spend some days together with other gaming builders on Starknet, because the event is being sponsored mainly by Starkware and Starknet, so it's gonna be very Starknet centric. Starkware is also going to be one of the main sponsors one of the sponsors of the Denver, which is beginning next week, and yeah, there will also be a lot of Starknet related initiatives. There's going to be the Stark Denver event conference, and some workshops and a lot of talks where Starknet will be represented during Denver. Then we also had the Bounty protocols testnet launch, and which is let me see if I remember well. Yeah, so a decentralized no loss price saving protocols on Starknet. So something like pulled together, yeah, being built on Starknet. And then we also have the generative project like Goal 2. Like it is a sort of game. And they were on standby for many months. I hadn't heard from them, but they're back with new features, such as like minting new snapshots as on-chain NFTs, mint existing snapshots as on-chain NFTs, and update to the Cairo one. Then we also had the announcement of the points program by Paradex, which is a layer 3. So an app chain being built using the Madara Starknet sequencer, and they settle on top of of Starknet, and they're going to distribute more than 1 million points every week. So if you're a trader, check their protocol out. It is a derivative protocol. And yeah, then also the Nostra DeFi multi-product platform launched their mobile version. Also, the Giza's AI framework announced the token trend forecasting that allows you to give forecasts of token markets using their machine learning models, so using AI, like gathering data and interpreting them. And yeah, this is a very interesting and powerful use case. Then we also had the whitelisted of a project from the Starknet ID community, Stark Rabu, which is basically you're going to be able to create your own PFP and mint it. And they're they disclose their whitelisting, they're sort of whitelisting. They didn't do the airdrop of their NFTs, but basically they airdropped the eligibility, right? And if you're eligible, then you could mint their own token, which is not for free, so it's not an airdrop. And then we also had, technically speaking, the Open Zeppelin development collective shipped the version 0.9.0 of the Cairo of their suite of Cairo contracts, and yeah, then I'm going very fast, guy. So also ZKX is launching their pro trade version of their protocol tomorrow. And yeah, these were some of the other news that happened during the week, besides the historic news of the Starknet tokens provisions and airdrop and launch. Then we can also mention some further gaming news, such as this very interesting thread from by Hapix, who's a gaming trader, I would say, very talented one, and he wrote about the different mini on-chain gaming studios that are popping out on Starknet, leveraging the power of the Dojo on-chain gaming engine. And they participated in the last Dojo on-chain gaming jams, hackathons. They are like gaming hackathons, and they're developing interesting products, and they're also contributing to battle test and also to further develop the Dojo engine. So it is quite good. And they mentioned the Underwear studio developing Underworld, Underdark, Pistols at 10 blocks. They also won the Dojo Game Jam, and with Pistol at 10 blocks, the last Dojo Game Jam. Then the Mississippi Gaming Studio, the Force Prime Gaming Studio, ZK Corp, which was also the gaming studio that won the first gaming Dojo Jam, and the Revilo TC, which should be a gaming studio building on top of RAMs. And yeah, there's also it is not a gaming studio, but it's a sort of a joint project from two gaming studios, from Gragsler and ZK Corp. And they're developing like a play to die game, and yeah. So if you want to find out more about these on-chain gaming studios building on Starknet, you'll find the link on the description box. Then you can also, if you want to know more about all the gaming news that happened in the ecosystem, you can also have a look at the latest issue from the Herald RAMS collective. Actually, most of their news are related to the RAMS autonomous world. And they talked about also, the Starknet provisions as well. Then they talked about the Loot Survivor tournament that is ongoing, the Far Castle social game that is being built on top of RAMS, the Loot Inspired race, and so much more developments that are being built on the RAMS autonomous world. Okay. So guys, I think that's it for this week. We covered, the historic news around the Starknet provisions. We also covered other news. I told you my views on that. And yeah, once again, congrats to all those who were eligible for the Starknet airdrop. Once again, also sweet folks go to, to the people who were genuinely active in the Starknet ecosystem, and they didn't manage to get eligible for it. But you shouldn't despair, because there's gonna be a lot of other initiatives, a lot of other also Starknet airdrop rounds, and also the projects building on Starknet. I'm sure they will want to try their best to satisfy their own communities. Obviously, I would reinforce my suggestion that when you're involved in this kind of field, you shouldn't be feeling entitled to anything unless you sign a working contract, and you should try your best to maximize your profits, stuff like that, in the most honest way possible. And at the same time, keeping in mind that there are a lot of dishonest people who just want to farm airdrops in a malicious way, and it is normal that that the people should protect themselves from it. And yeah, having said that, guys, be positive, stay positive. Bright things are on the horizon. So hopefully I will be seeing you on the next StarkStream. Remember to like this stream, to share it with your friends, to subscribe to our YouTube channel, and to share the Starknet vibe. Thanks a lot, guys, and see you next week. Goodbye. Take care.